It's very interesting. One of the things that I'm hearing lately is that managers and leaders are called to be coaches, that we need to introduce more coaching skills into the world of management. Today, we're going to explore effective coaching skills for managers. In today's video, I want to explore 6 different areas which show that the manager can be most effective when they are a coach of the employees of which they manage. Stay tuned, because I think here you'll find some interesting ways that you can add to your management style and your management skill. The first area is on mindset. See, when it comes to coaching skills and managers using coaching skills, I think part of the process is, first of all, changing your mindset, because showing up as a coach is a totally different mindset than showing up perhaps as a manager or a leader. And what do I mean by that? Well, very often when it comes to managing, what we're responsible for is getting things done. It's being able to prove that you got X, Y, Z done today. And of course, that's a different mindset from coaching, because coaching is all about exploration. It's not so much about getting things done, but exploring what's happening. And that takes a different mindset. It takes a mindset, first of all, of questions and introducing much more questions into the dynamics of the relationships that we have with other people. Because effective questions elicit more data and interesting data that we can use as we coach other people. And so therefore, that mindset of asking questions. The other thing as well is that, of course, as a manager, we're charged with getting things done, whereas a coach is much more interested in the process. So looking in the process of how we get things done. And that requires, of course, a little more global mindset into looking at the process as a whole and being able to investigate and perhaps tease about how things might be improved. So mindset is the move away from doing and getting things done to the being, the process, and the asking curious questions. The second element, of course, is about active listening. You know, coaching, as we've said already, is not so much about the doing, but rather it is the way that we are present with other people. And of course, what coaches do very well is that they have amazing listening skills. Now, what are we listening to? We're not just listening to the words that a person speaks, but rather we're listening to everything about them. We're listening to their body language. We're listening to the words. We're listening to their voice. We're listening to the way they show up. We're listening to what's said, but to also what is not said. And so managers who are able to incorporate a much more active listening response tend to bring the world of coaching into the workplace. The third area that's important for the manager of coach is perspective changing. What a good coach is able to do is help people who they're coaching change their perspective, add perhaps a different lens. You see, so often in the world of work, we have a focused lens on just one direction. And what a great coach is able to do is to widen that lens. They're able to help a person see the reality with new eyes, to see different things that perhaps they hadn't noticed. So part of what a great coaching skill is to widen the lens and help other people see with different sets of eyes and a different perspective. The fourth thing that a coach is able to do is to provide psychological safety. Now, psychological safety has become very important, and for a reason. You know, we want employees to feel engaged. We want employees to be productive. We want employees to have long-term commitments to our organizations. And therefore, managers need to be able to create spaces that enable people to trust each other, spaces in which they feel safe to say things like, I messed up, I got it wrong, or safe to say, I disagree, I have another point of view. And part of that, of course, is creating psychological safety. Those spaces are spaces in which people feel they belong, people feel they have trusted colleagues, and people feel that they can admit mistakes or they can challenge what's being said. And of course, as the manager who is the leader in creating that space, it's very important for them to make sure that they're creating a space where trust is present and a space where all those different elements that come from trust are present. If you're enjoying today's video, I invite you to subscribe and press the bell below. You will be notified when the next video comes out. Every week, I strive to produce a video which explores the world of emotional intelligence and will help you build stronger relationships at work and also at home. The fifth element is empathy. You know, as managers, empathy is incredibly important. It's this ability to realize what it's like to walk in the other person's shoes, this ability to recognize the emotions they're feeling, this ability to recognize what they're going through. And so part of great coaching is this ability to make connection through empathy. And so managers need to spend a little time in developing their empathetic skills, because that's one thing that's surprising. You know, very often we think that we either have or we don't have empathy. But empathy is a skill that can be trained. Empathy is something that we can expand. Empathy is an essential skill that managers need to show the people that they're working with. And the sixth and final point is that managers who want to improve their coaching skills need to give better feedback. They need to be able to recognize, what does a person need in this particular moment? You know, when it comes to feedback, there are many different techniques out there. But I always like to say, is at this moment what's needed appreciation or development? And what I mean by that is, does the person need appreciation for something that they have done well? If that's the case, then we offer them appreciation and thanks. And we also are very focused in telling them what they have done right. But if we need some development, then what we're trying to do, of course, is to help them perhaps focus in an area of improvement. And so at that stage, through all the skills that we've talked to up to this point, the empathy, the ability to listen, the ability to notice, we're able to interject here different ways that the person might want to consider doing something different in the future. And I say in the future specifically because it creates an energy around we're co-creating with the other person things that they might do differently the next time they try something. So there we have 6 different skills that managers can turn to as they try and introduce the world of coaching into management. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to watch the next one, which talks about how to give effective feedback to team members.